Hey there, crochet makers. Welcome to another video. Today I have a really fun video for you. This is going to be a themed video, which you know I love, and it's going to be about my favorite holiday, which is fall and spooky season. And so I went out and I found some really cute patterns on Instagram and YouTube because I'm going to be stocking the store and also stocking my table for my September and October market. And I really wanted to find some patterns that were easy, adorable, and a good size for me to take to these two different venues. So I'm really excited to bring these patterns to you. I tried all of them out, and some of them I made 2 or 3 of, which means I really liked it. So I'm really excited to bring that to you guys, and hopefully you'll walk away with at least one pattern that you want to make for yourself, for your markets. I know that fall season is not a time where we want to be spending a lot of money on patterns, so that's why I thought it would be really good to go out and find some that are free. Like, why not find some free patterns that we can make for fall and for spooky season, and maybe you just want to make something fun to sit around your house or to give to a friend. If you haven't already subscribe to my channel, please consider doing that. It really helps me out in making future content. And if you are new here, welcome, and I will see you in a minute. The first pattern I have for you is an adorable spider. This spider is called Charlotte the Spider, and it's by vanilla_gurumi. And one thing that I love about this spider is that it is no-sew, except for putting the two body pieces together, the head to the body. All of these little legs are surface crocheted, which I really like. A couple of the other patterns that I found were you had to make individual legs and then sew them on, and that just sounded like it would take me forever. So if I were to put this spider in the store or make it for a market, I definitely wouldn't have time to sew on 8 little legs. So I'm going to show you this one, and then I also made one in this Naughty Ball yarn. I used a 4.5mm hook for all of these spiders, and then I also used a 12mm eye and then a 10mm eye. And this is Naughty Pony. All of this yarn is Naughty Pony. This one is also, well, actually this one's Bernat, I'm sorry. And you can tell that the difference between the Bernat spider and the Naughty Pony spider is just a little bit bigger. And then I actually combined the two for the last spider. I made this one with a Bernat black body and then Naughty Pony legs. And I really think this is one of my favorites. I was watching another YouTuber and she did a different color for the body and then like a black head, and I thought that would be really cute as well. One issue that I had with this pattern is that they want you to attach the body to where it goes up a little bit. And when I attached the body, I had a little bit of a hard time making that look that way. It's supposed to be like this, where it kind of goes up a little bit. So I'll have to play around with it and see if I can get the body to be a little bit more in the up position. So this is definitely a winner. I want to put some spiders in the store in Freeport where I sell my plushies, and I think these are going to be a really big hit. The next free pattern that I have for you is by Amigurumi, and it is the most adorable pattern. It's actually one that I made the most of, which means I loved it. And it is this pumpkin cat. Look how adorable this is. This is the back of it. So it has 2 little front paws. The idea in looking at the pattern is that it's supposed to look like it's wearing a pumpkin hoodie. You can actually take off the outer part. And then this is the outer hoodie or pumpkin shell costume that the cat is wearing. So you just crochet this separately, and then you make the little green tendrils separately and the stem, and you sew them on. And then you can just tie them inside, which makes it really, really easy. And then the cat body is just a circle. So that was really easy. I used 20mm safety eyes, and this is just a Bernat trim. But, oops, sorry, that was upside down. Overall, I think it was a really easy pattern and very easy to change around with a different cat breed, or you could I even thought of making the pumpkin hoodie into like a ghost hoodie and making like a black cat with a white hoodie and then maybe some details that make it look like a ghost. And then I tried it in black, and the black one I think the black one is probably my favorite. I like how they have you single crochet decrease around here, which makes it look like it's cinching in on the cat's face. For this one, I used green eyes. And of course, the tendril is just my favorite. I love the way that looks. But super easy pattern, super easy to follow. And then I ran out of the orange yarn. And so I decided to, I think this is, it almost looks like mystical yarn, but it's not. It actually could be, but I'm not sure. It came out a little bit smaller. You put these next to each other. They came out a little bit smaller. But I went ahead and did the body in this color, and then the hoodie is in this rust Bernat color. And I really like the way that turned out. Is this mystical? What do you guys think? And then I just decided to do like solid black eyes because there's so much color going on with this cat that I thought solid black eyes would be cute. And then the neat thing is that you could have a bunch of cats. Well, you have to match up the feet, but you could, in theory, mix up the cats with the hoodies. You could just have somebody choose the hoodie and the cat, but all the cats would have to be the same color because the little feet have to match up. But look how cute they are. And then I think for this one, I used a 7mm hook. And then I think for this one, I used like maybe a 5mm hook because it came out quite a bit smaller. But overall, this is another winter pattern. I'm definitely putting these in the store. I think they would be very popular for Halloween. I just went back and looked at my video and realized that I had forgotten one of the patterns, or like my camera didn't film it for some reason, even though I actually thought I was filming. But the pattern that I forgot to talk about is by notbadami.com. It is a free pattern on his blog or his website, and his patterns are all made with worsted weight yarn, which is not a big deal because, you know, any pattern can be made with different types of yarn. But it is the Frankenstein. It was the first fall pattern that I made out of this whole collection, and probably one of my favorites. The reason why I like it is because it was so incredibly easy. And you start from the head and then you work down to the bottom. You do have to make the arms separately and sew them on. And then the pattern does call for you to create the feet and then sew those on as well. But instead, I just did a surface crochet bobble stitch. I used Naughty Pony yarn and a 4.5mm hook. And I'm definitely going to make more of these because I think they're so cute. I added the little hair details, which he does as well, just to make it look more Frankenstein-y. And I used 14mm safety eyes, but isn't he so adorable? I think he's going to be very popular, and I do not mind crocheting more of these, which means that I probably liked it. So notbadami.com, I will link his information down below so that you guys can go on his website and get your free pattern for this adorable Frankenstein. Next pattern that I have for you is actually one of my own patterns, and when this video comes out, you will be able to access this video on Instagram for free. And it is this little chubby alien. The arms are supposed to be down, so I think I'm just doing my chain stitches a little too tight. But I used Naughty Pony yarn for all three of these little guys, so that's why the colors are so vibrant. And I just think they are so cute. I think I could make this in about 10 minutes. It's a very fast market make. You can see that this guy, I stuffed him a little bit more. That's why he's so chubby. But this is going to be a great market make. So go out to Instagram or look down in the description down below and find this free pattern so that you can make your own little alien. I used, I want to say 14mm safety eyes, maybe 12mm safety eyes. I wanted the eyes to look a little bit bigger, a little bit alien-like. And yeah, it's a super easy pattern and it's no-sew. For our next free pattern, if you were watching my last video, you probably saw the bees that I made, but I'll go ahead and talk about it here because it is definitely worth mentioning. I will link a few free bee patterns down below, but I actually free-handed these bees. But you can really take any bee pattern and make it into whatever kind of bee that you want. But this is a zombie bee, and it has a little X for the eye. And I just used Naughty Pony green yarn and black yarn, and then also Naughty Pony white wings. And then the little red detail is actually also Naughty Pony. So we have the zombie bee, which is adorable. And then I actually made a mummy bee. And the way I made the mummy bee was I made the bee completely in white. I made the wings in black. And then I chained like 50 chains and then just wrapped it around the bee and then tacked it down. So you can really make it however you want. You can make it more covered up or you can make it less covered up, however you want. But I think it's really, really cute to put these two next to each other, like the zombie and the mummy. And then I always have candy corn bees, so I took the same bee pattern and I just did orange, yellow, and white. This is also all Naughty Pony. Naughty Pony is an excellent size for this type of project. So we have our 3 different bees that are going to be perfect at markets and definitely perfect at the store. So I would definitely take these with me. The next pattern is actually a YouTube pattern, and it's by My Woolly Nook, and she has tons of great patterns on her channel, in her blog, and on YouTube. So this one is definitely a winner, and it is this pumpkin frog. So cute. This is all Bernat yarn that you see here, and I used a 6.5mm hook. All no-sew. It has 2 bobble stitches for the eyes, 2 bobble stitches for the feet, and then you just transition for the different colors. I think I whipped these out in like 15 minutes. They were all super easy. One thing I noticed is that, I don't know if my tension's off a little bit, but there's a part where the green is showing a little more and then showing a little less. And I'm thinking the part where the face should be is the part where you have more green. So for this one, you can see the face is on that side, but on this one, the face is on this side. So I don't know how I did that. I will pay more attention when I make this again, but this is definitely such a little squish, such a fun little squish creature. And these would definitely be big sellers, I believe, because they are kind of similar to when I make my octopus that it's about this size, or even my little tiny loaf cats that are about this size. So this is a winner, super easy, fast pattern, and it's no-sew. The next pattern I have for you guys is by Teddy_Squares or Teddy.Squares, and it's a mini pumpkin spice latte. So cute. I used all Naughty Pony yarn for this pattern, but I definitely want to make this with Bernat because I think it would give me a larger product. And I know, like, if I were to put this at the store and this were to be handled a lot, it would probably take a beating, but it is a pretty intricate pattern. You have to make the mug, and then you do back loop only for the latte, and then you have to make this whipped cream is actually pretty long, and then you twirl it, and then you make the pumpkin top, and then you sew that on. So overall, it takes a little bit of time to make it, but I think that the product is definitely worth it. Will I make these for the store? I doubt it, but I might consider it. I might make it in Bernat and then see how long it takes me and see what I could charge for it. But currently, I feel like I would not put this size in the store because it wouldn't be worth the price that I would be able to charge. But it's still a really cute pattern and worth trying out. And the last pattern that I have for you guys is by a maker called Michaela Crochets. And again, this is like one of my favorites. I love it, and I'm so surprised at how many of these patterns because sometimes when I do these hauls where I'm like trying a bunch of different patterns, I'll only pull one out that I actually want to make again. That didn't happen this time. I like almost all of these patterns, but check out this hot chocolate mug by Michaela Crochets. It's so cute, and it's a free pattern. I used Bernat Mystical yarn for the mug, and then this is actually Chenille Brights chocolate, and then the white is just a white Bernat yarn. But look at the mug handle. I like how she has you sew the mug handle up here at the top. It makes it a little more sturdy. So adorable, so cute. I love the big eyes. I think I used 20mm safety eyes on this guy, but you're gonna laugh so hard when you see the next one that I made. I don't know what happened, why it turned out so big, because this is, if not a little smaller than this is actually a really good size for a mug for me to take to the store or a market. But I made it in this perfect phasing yarn. And are you ready for it? Look how big it turned out. Let's put them side by side. I don't know why. I actually went back and checked to see you can tell it's perfect phasing yarn, to see if I started with 8 single crochets instead of 6. Maybe that made it bigger, but it wasn't. But then when I counted my stitches, I am over by like 10 stitches. So I don't know what I did. I almost frogged it and did it again. And I thought, you know what? This is so finished. Why would I do that to myself? So we're just going to take this big mug of hot chocolate to my next market, which is September 6th. And we're going to see what happens. But I think it turned out really cute. I definitely prefer this size. I want to make a bunch of different colors of mugs. I even thought of doing different toppings on the hot chocolate, or even like a peppermint stick sticking out of it. I don't know if that's fall, but maybe. But I consider these like fall makes because who doesn't love hot chocolate in the fall? So overall, I was really happy with these fall makes that I tried out. I think this is going to make a really great display at my next market, and I'm going to pick and choose a few to take back to the store with me. So I'm going to be setting up my fall shelves at the shop probably around September 1st. So a couple that I think I'll definitely take is the pumpkin frog, because I can make a bunch of these. I can charge about 10 bucks. I think they'll sell out. I'm definitely taking some bees with me, and probably my two favorite bees are the zombie bee and the candy corn bee. I was having a little chat with Heather from Cottontail Crafts. She told me the zombie bee was her bestseller, so this would definitely be one that I would take. I'm going to be taking some Frankensteins with me. I feel like this is going to replace my mousse, or at least be on the same category as the mousse, because I would probably charge around $28 for this guy. I can make a few of them, put them on the shelf, and I think they'll probably sell out. And then I think the last one that I'll probably take with me is the pumpkin cat. I think overall that's going to give me a good selection of fall makes for the store, and then anything that I don't take this to the store, I will take to my market on September 6th. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope I was able to give you some ideas for your fall markets, or for you to just make for your home, or just for fun. So thank you so much for coming along with me, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.